Hey everyone, welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Settle in, because tonight's chapter in the whirlwind around Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel is as intimate as it is explosive. Don't forget to subscribe and share so you don't miss a beat. For weeks, whispers of a rupture between Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel have echoed across sets and dressing rooms, filling the entertainment world with suspense. Last night, the pair finally stepped forward together, facing a wall of cameras and microphones, and promised to address the speculation for the last time. Their decision to speak as one, and to do it calmly, stunned everyone. The room hushed when Barış, steady but visibly weighted by the moment, acknowledged that the last stretch of their romance had frayed with an emotional mismatch. Then came the sentence that turned the oxygen thin. A new chapter has started in my life, and my feelings shifted along the way. I now feel something special for Sinem. That single line sent the internet into a spiral. Fingers raced to tag Sinem Yu, the actress who has been sharing long days and late-night rehearsals on a recent project with Barış. She had kept her public comments coy until now, once teasing, "Sometimes, people you think you know reveal sides you never expected." Last night, after hours of silence, she released a brief note of her own: "I don't want to speak about what's unfolding in my life. In time, we'll listen to what our hearts decide." The words were scarce, but every syllable landed like a clue. Throughout it all, Yağmur sat poised. She didn't flinch when the flashes burst after Barış uttered Sinem's name. She didn't rush to fill the pauses. When her turn came, she lifted the microphone with incredible grace. Their separation, she said, had unfolded with mutual respect, without scorched earth or revenge. "I believe a love that reaches its end can be released with light," she concluded. "We'll each walk our path stronger than we arrived." Her composure, her refusal to blame or belittle, spread quickly across timelines. Supporters framed her as the portrait of dignity in difficult hours. But the statement also cracked the fanbase in two. Some insisted that reconciliation had long been brewing among all three, reading the press conference as a formal unveiling of what insiders already knew. Others argued that every line had been twisted to fit a narrative that didn't exist. When Barış repeated, "I'm saying this for the last time," many read it as a coded boundary, an end to keeping score in public. Whether that boundary will hold is the question of the week, especially with Sinem's new series launching in a matter of days. Will she speak with more candor at that press event, or will silence be her shield again? The tension is set to dominate the tabloids as far as anyone can see. The night had been billed as their first joint appearance since the gossip broke, a moment to either refute or confirm what fans suspected. They didn't swerve around the obvious. The relationship that made them one of television's most magnetic pairs, they said, was moving toward a formal conclusion. Yet it was Barış's confession, softly delivered and absolutely unmistakable, that swallowed the oxygen in the room. At the outset, he and Yağmur traced the history of their partnership with care. They talked about cheering each other on, sharing good days and heavy ones, and making difficult choices only after long conversations and introspection. Then the turn came. After a breath that felt like an eternity, he composed himself and said, with finality, "This is the last time I'll talk about it. I don't want to hide my truth. My heart has changed. I feel something unique for Sinem." The photographers answered with a staccato storm, and the questions surged like a tide. Rumors about their closeness had started when long filming days bled into late dinners and laughter on set. There had been sightings, interpretations of glances, and cryptic captions that fans decoded into entire storylines. Even so, no one expected those words to be spoken so plainly. In the same breath, Yağmur anchored the chaos with her presence. She didn't shrink from the moment. "Life has a habit of turning us onto roads we didn't plan to take," she said evenly. "We reached that junction. We're not at war, we let each other be free." That sentiment became a banner on social media, where her name trended alongside praise for her maturity. Inevitably, eyes drifted to Sinem. The young star had been posting glossy, enigmatic clips for weeks, and one of them, "Sometimes life opens doors you weren't looking for," kept resurfacing now. Shortly after Barış spoke, she shared a message on Instagram that was both sparse and loaded. When the heart steps forward, silence can be its truest ally. Commentators split immediately. Some called it a clear signal of a budding romance, others said it was a reminder to stop parsing her every breath. Her feed turned into a battleground of hearts and heartbreak, with thousands of comments arriving by the minute. Beyond the swirl, something more intimate emerged online, tender throwbacks to Barış and Yağmur's last joint appearances, red carpet smiles, behind-the-scenes clips where their partnership seemed effortless. The captions read like letters. Sadness, gratitude, a longing for what they represented. Their breakup, however carefully handled, had a ripple effect, and that ripple felt deeply personal to the spectators who had watched them grow together. By late evening, the story took on a second life. Whatever doubt lingered about the separation finally dissolved as fact. Yağmur, who had chosen silence over speculation for several weeks, stepped into the light to confirm what the murmurs had been saying. The setting was meticulously planned, a muted backdrop, measured lighting, and rows of journalists who'd run out of room for skepticism. Armchairs side by side, but a small span of air between them that didn't exist months ago. That gap revealed more than any statement would. The cameras found Barış's face and lingered on the tension around his eyes, the kind of strain that doesn't vanish even behind a practiced smile. Yağmur started first, outlining their decision with respect and care. She steered clear of blame. The unspoken question in the room wasn't hers, it belonged to him. Would he address the rumor, or let it remain rumor? After the kind of pause that makes people hold their breath without noticing, he leaned toward the microphone and said, with a gentleness that somehow carried far, "I want to say this once and not return to it." The next line became a headline within seconds. "Yes, the separation has been painful, but a new page is turning in my life. I'm in love with Sinem." Within minutes, the internet had already stitched together a timeline, linked set photos and interview clips, and pointed to the recent projects where his and Sinem Ünsal's paths intertwined with rare intensity. None of it was officially confirmed before tonight, and suddenly it didn't need to be. The revelation erased the gray area. The spotlight swung back to Yağmur. If there was anger, she didn't show it. She met the tumult with a measured tone that kept the room from boiling over. "No ending is easy," she said, "but sometimes the map redraws itself. I respect what Barış needs to live truthfully. I don't want to say anything that wounds me later. I just want to step back quietly when the noise fades." It wasn't resignation, it was a kind of self-protection, a boundary set with a smile instead of a wall. In the hours that followed, the reactions grew more complicated. A portion of the fandom applauded Barış for refusing to hide behind hollow reassurances, arguing that love doesn't always conform to the timeline we expect. Others bristled at the bluntness, insisting the words could have been gentler. Meanwhile, the comment sections under Sinem's posts ran hot and cold at once, a storm of celebration and censure. And under the last photos of Barış and Yağmur together, a softer chorus rose. People thanking them for the joy they'd given, for the chemistry that had felt like a promise, even if the promise was destined to change. Now, all attention points forward. Will Sinem address the situation when she faces the media for her new series next week? Will she carve out a line between personal and public, or will she etch the first sentences of a new narrative in her own voice? One thing is certain. The triangle of feelings that became unavoidable last night will not slide out of the headlines anytime soon. Through the din, it's easy to forget the most human detail, that behind names and narratives are people trying to do the right thing by themselves and each other under a relentless spotlight. That's why the way this unfolded matters, the decision to sit down together, to speak carefully, to admit truths that are difficult to hold. In a world that rewards spectacle, they chose uncomfortable honesty. For fans of Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel, this isn't the ending anyone wanted, but it is the one they chose to share. He asked to say it once and put it down, she asked to step back without making the aftermath bloodier than it needed to be. And somewhere between those two requests lies the most realistic version of closure anyone can hope for in their position. We'll keep watching for what comes next. Whether silence will remain Sinam's stance or whether she'll offer more than hints, whether the boundary Barış set will hold, and how Yağmur will continue to turn the page with the grace she displayed last night. Until then, remember what was said clearly: the door they walked through together is closing, and 3 separate paths are unfolding, each with its own weight and possibility. That's the story as it stands tonight from Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you found this deep dive helpful, tap subscribe and share so more people can follow along as the next chapter writes itself.